Shalom, my friends. Today I am not going to give you a comforting sermon. I am not going to tell you to just pray and wait for a miracle. Today I am going to give you the most brutally honest, uncomfortable, and profitable advice you will ever receive. I am going to tell you the real, raw, unfiltered secret to building immense wealth and success. It is a secret that the modern world of passive income and work-life balance has tried to bury. The secret is this: you must outwork everyone. By the end of this video, you will understand the profound Torah principle that effort is the only thing that creates the vessel for God's blessing. And you will have a blueprint to develop a work ethic that makes you unstoppable. But first, I need you to be brutally honest with me. Drop a comment below. What is the one excuse you tell yourself for not working harder? Is it that you're tired? That you don't have time? That you're not smart enough? Let's drag these excuses out of the darkness and into the light. Before we continue, you know the mission. We are on a mission to reach 50,000 subscribers, to bring this undiluted Torah wisdom about money, success, and legacy to the world. If you believe in real, honest advice over comfortable lies, then prove it. Hit that subscribe button right now. Become part of this community of spiritual warriors. And if you are one of the few who is truly hungry, who wants to go deeper than the public teachings, then I invite you to become a channel member. You will get my most advanced strategies, the inner circle lessons I don't share anywhere else. Click the join button below. Now, let's get to work. Listen to me. The world has sold you a fantasy of 4-hour work weeks, of laptops on a beach, of money falling from the sky while you sleep. This is a dangerous spiritual poison. It is the voice of the Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination, whispering in your ear. It should be easy. You deserve a rest. Someone else will do it. And so you dabble. You try a little here, a little there. You give 50%, and you expect a 100% return. And then you wonder why you are still broke. You wonder why your business is failing. You wonder why you are filled with anxiety and regret. I will tell you why. It is because you are lazy. That is the brutal truth. You have not put in the work. You have not earned the right to be successful. You think you want to be a millionaire, but you have the work ethic of a part-time hobbyist. Today, that delusion ends. Today, we replace the fantasy of passive income with the reality of holy effort. Today, you learn that outworking everyone is not just a business strategy. It is a spiritual imperative. Let me take you back to my first real business venture. I was in my early 20s, and I had an idea for a specialty import business. I saw a gap in the market. I was smart. I was passionate. I was sure I was going to be a millionaire in a year. I worked, but I worked when I felt like it. I made some calls. I built a basic website. I told myself I was hustling, but in reality, I was protecting my comfort. I didn't want to make the extra phone call. I didn't want to stay up all night researching my competition. I wanted to go out with my friends. I wanted to sleep in. I believed my clever idea was enough. There was another guy in the same space. Let's call him Avi. Avi wasn't as charismatic as I was. His idea wasn't as original. But Avi was a machine. While I was sleeping, he was on the phone with suppliers in a different time zone. While I was watching a movie, he was reading trade publications, learning every detail about the industry. While I was at a party, He was personally packing boxes to make sure his first orders were perfect. I looked at him and I thought, he's a grinder. He has no life. Within 6 months, Avi had eaten my lunch. He had captured the entire market. My brilliant business was dead. I was humiliated. I was broke. And I was angry. I was angry at Avi. I was angry at the world. But deep down, I knew the truth. Avi didn't beat me because he was luckier. He beat me because he worked harder. He deserved to win. I deserved to lose. That failure was the most painful and most valuable lesson of my life. It burned a truth into my soul that I carry with me to this day. The world does not pay you for your ideas, it pays you for your results. And results only come from relentless, obsessive, all-consuming work. Here is the fundamental problem, the common enemy. The modern world worships comfort, but the Torah worships effort. We have been taught that stress is bad and relaxation is good, but the truth is that growth does not happen in comfort. Muscle does not grow without being torn. A diamond is not formed without immense pressure, and a great soul is not forged without immense effort. The enemy is your own desire for ease. It is the belief that you can have the reward without the sacrifice. The hidden mechanism is a core principle of reality. God's blessing, the bracha, can only rest on something that exists. It cannot rest on a vacuum. You can pray for a bountiful harvest all day long, but if you have not ploughed the field, planted the seeds and watered the crops, what is there for God to bless? Your effort is what creates the physical vessel into which the spiritual blessing can be poured. When you are lazy, you are presenting God with an empty field. You are asking for a miracle out of nothing. But when you work with relentless intensity, when you prepare, when you learn, when you build, you are creating a magnificent vessel. You are saying to God, "Look at this field I have prepared. Look at these seeds I have sown. I have done everything in my human power. Now, please, bring the rain." Effort is an act of faith. Laziness is an act of atheism. It is a declaration that you do not truly believe a harvest is possible. The cost of inaction, the cost of this laziness is not just poverty, it is a shrunken soul. It is the gnawing regret of knowing you did not give it your all. It is the quiet shame of watching others who started with less than you achieve more than you, simply because they were willing to do the work you were not. It is a life of mediocrity. It is a life of what if. It is the hell of looking back on your one precious life and knowing you wasted your potential on comfort and distraction. Now, let me anchor this in the bedrock of our Torah. Let's talk about our father, Jacob, Yaakov Avinu. Jacob wanted to marry Rachel. He was in love. But her father, Laban, was a treacherous swindler. Laban said, "Work for me for 7 years and you can marry her." What did Jacob do? Did he complain? Did he try to negotiate a better deal? No. The Torah tells us, so Jacob worked 7 years for Rachel, and they seemed to him but a few days because of his love for her. 7 years of hard labor felt like a few days. Why? Because he was driven by a powerful vision, by love. But the story doesn't end there. Laban tricked him and gave him Leah instead. He then demanded another 7 years of work for Rachel, 14 years of back-breaking labor. And after that, he worked another 6 years, constantly being cheated by Laban to build his own wealth. What is the lesson here? The lesson is that our patriarchs were not passive dreamers waiting for blessings to fall from the sky. They were grinders, they were workers. Jacob's entire fortune, the foundation of the 12 tribes of Israel, was built on 20 years of relentless, thankless, grueling work under a dishonest boss. He didn't have a fair work environment. He didn't have work-life balance. He had a mission, and he was willing to outwork everyone and everything to achieve it. He created the vessel, and only then did God's blessing pour into it, making him a man of immense wealth. This is the Jewish way. Look at the words of King Solomon in Proverbs, Mishlei, the wisest man who ever lived. He doesn't say the lazy man will be poor, but the dreamer will be rich. He says the hand of the diligent will rule, while the lazy will be put to forced labor. He says the soul of the lazy man craves and has nothing, but the soul of the diligent is made fat. This is not a suggestion. This is a law of the universe, like gravity. Diligence leads to mastery and wealth. Laziness leads to servitude and lack. I remember when I was building my second company after my first failure. I was haunted by the ghost of Avi, the guy who had outworked me. I made a vow to myself and to God. I vowed that no one would ever beat me because they worked harder than me. They might be smarter, they might have more money, but they would not have more will. I became obsessed. I adopted a simple, brutal rule. I would work like someone was spending 24 hours a day trying to take it all away from me. My epiphany was this: work is not a punishment. It is a privilege. It is the mechanism through which we partner with God in the act of creation. The Hebrew word for work, avodah, is the same word used for divine service, for worship. When you work with your full heart, with your full mind, with your full strength, your desk becomes an altar. Your keyboard becomes a holy instrument. Your business becomes a sanctuary. You are not just making money. You are revealing divine light in the world. With this new consciousness, my actions changed. I was the first one in the office and the last one to leave. I learned every single detail of my industry until I knew more than my competitors, more than my suppliers, more than even my own customers. I made the calls no one else wanted to make. I did the boring, repetitive tasks with the same intensity as the exciting ones. And a strange thing happened. The work stopped feeling like a grind. It became a spiritual practice. It was my avodah. And because I had built such a massive vessel through my effort, the blessings that came were massive. The business exploded. We didn't just succeed, we dominated. Not because I was a genius, but because I had finally learned the lesson of our father Jacob. You must be willing to put in the years. Now, let me give you the practical, no excuses framework. I call it the 3 pillars of the holy work ethic. This is how you outwork everyone starting tomorrow. Pillar 1. Master your domain. You must know more about your industry than anyone else, period. This is the brains part that Mark Cuban talks about, but it's also a Torah concept. King Solomon wasn't just wise in spiritual matters. He was an expert in botany, in zoology, in engineering. You must become a student for life. Read everything: the trade journals, the financial reports of your competitors, the biographies of the leaders in your field. You should be so knowledgeable that people in your own industry come to you for advice. If you are not spending at least an hour a day learning, you are not trying to win, you are waiting to lose. Someone else is learning while you are being entertained. They will beat you. Pillar 2. Embrace the mundane. Anyone can get excited about a big new idea, but champions are built in the boring, repetitive tasks. Answering the emails, making the cold calls, checking the numbers. This is the grind, and the grind is where your character is forged. In the Talmud, there is a concept called mitzvah goreret mitzvah. One good deed leads to another. The same is true of effort. One disciplined act leads to another. When you do the boring work with excellence, you are training your soul to be diligent. You are proving to God that you can be trusted with small things, so He can then trust you with big things. Stop looking for the glamorous work. Fall in love with the process. The daily, unsexy, relentless process of getting 1% better every day is the true path to mastery. Pillar 3. Cultivate holy paranoia. I want you to imagine that your biggest competitor is smarter than you, has more money than you, and is working 24 hours a day with the single-minded goal of destroying you and taking everything you have. This is not a negative mindset. It is a realistic one. This is the Jewish concept of knowing your enemy. As soon as you achieve any level of success, you become a target. That paranoia should fuel you. It should wake you up early. It should keep you up late. Before you go to bed, ask yourself the question our sages ask. What would I do to put myself out of business? Think like your enemy. Find your own weaknesses before they do. This holy paranoia is not about fear, it is about focus. It eliminates complacency. Complacency is the luxury of the mediocre. You cannot afford it. Now, you might be thinking, but Rabbi, what about burnout? What about my family? This is a legitimate objection. But you are asking the wrong question. The question is not if you should work this hard, but why. Burnout doesn't come from working hard. It comes from working without a purpose. When your work is your avodah, your divine service, it doesn't drain you, it energizes you. And your family? Do not lie to yourself and say you're not working hard for your family. The greatest gift you can give your family is to show them what it looks like for a person to be fully alive, to be pursuing a mission with every fiber of their being. You integrate them. You bring them into the mission. Your children should see you working, and they should know why you are working. You're not just building a business, you are building a legacy. Let's deepen this. If you are in your 20s, you have no excuse. Your capacity for work is at its peak, and your responsibilities are at their lowest. This is your Jacob working for Laban decade. You should be working 12, 14, 16 hours a day. You should be obsessed. This is the time to build the foundation of skills, contacts, and capital that will serve you for the rest of your life. Do not waste your youth on distraction. If you are in your 40s or 50s, you may not have the same physical energy, but you have something more valuable: wisdom. You must work smarter. Your work is to strategize, to mentor, to see the big picture. You outwork others not with brute force, but with superior knowledge and experience. you leverage your years of effort. And here is the advanced hack, the Level 2 strategy. The ultimate way to unlock limitless energy is to work l'shem shamayim, for the sake of heaven. This means you dedicate your work to a higher purpose. Before you start your workday, you make a declaration. I dedicate this day of work to Hashem. May the wealth I create be used for good in the world, to support my family, to give charity, tzedakah, to build my community. May my work itself be a sanctification of God's name. When you do this, your work is no longer about you. It is not about your ego or your desire for a new car. It becomes a holy act. And when you are engaged in a holy act, God Himself gives you the strength to complete it. So, here is my challenge to you. The 30-day work ethic revolution. For the next 30 days, you will adopt the mindset of a spiritual warrior. Here are your 3 immediate actions. 1. Tonight, identify the single most important skill in your industry. Find the best book, course, or resource on it, and schedule 1 hour in your calendar every single day for the next 30 days to master it. This is non-negotiable. 2. Tomorrow, wake up 30 minutes earlier than you normally do. Do not use this time for leisure. Use it to plan your day with ruthless focus, or to learn, as per action number 1. 3. Identify your single biggest and most dangerous competitor. Spend 1 hour this week studying them. What do they do better than you? Where are they weak? Write it down. This is your first act of holy paranoia. Remember the promise. The world has lied to you. Success is not easy. It is not passive. It is earned. It is earned through sweat, through focus, through a relentless, obsessive desire to be the best. You must be willing to outwork everyone. This is not just a path to wealth. It is the path to self-respect. It is the path of our fathers. It is the path of the diligent, who the Torah promises will rule. As King Solomon said, whatever your hand finds to do, do it with all your might, not some of your might, not the might you feel like giving today, all of your might. Shalom. And may you be blessed with the holy fire of diligence, the strength to outwork your excuses, and the profound satisfaction of knowing you gave it your all for the sake of heaven. Amen.